Hello, my little children. We are going to be practicing sentence fragments, as you can see. You have your Google slide presentation where you're going to be working on sentence fragments, run-on sentences, and complete sentences. So, very quickly, as a review, I'm going to add a page here. We're going to talk about the difference between a fragment, a run-on sentence, and a complete sentence. So, an example, let me change this to paper format. You guys know I'm picky. An example of a complete sentence could be Walker loves cookies. If you guys all remember, Walker is my favorite child, my dog, and he's sleeping right next to me, snoring while I'm doing this video lesson for you guys. So Walker has the two most essential parts of a complete sentence. It has the subject, which is the noun, the thing that the sentence is about, and it has the predicate verb, the action that he's doing. So Walker's the subject and loves is the verb predicate. Okay, so that's a complete sentence. You just need those two things. I could say Walker runs, and that's a complete sentence because it has a subject, Walker, and a predicate, verb, runs. So that's how you make a complete sentence. It seems very simple, but in all honesty, it can be a little confusing. So right now, we're going to talk about sentence fragments. Now, if I talk about a bone fragment, that just means a little piece of your bone. So a sentence fragment is a piece of a sentence. You start to do a complete sentence, but somehow you stop and you don't finish it up. For example, I could write, when I was 12, and then that's my period. That's it. That's all I wrote. So when I was 12, I started to say something that happened when I was a child, but I didn't finish. That is an example of a sentence fragment. Now I can fix this by saying, when I was 12, I loved to ride my bike. So I have the subject, me. That's my subject. And I have the verb, loved. That's my verb, my predicate verb. That's telling me what action I'm doing. And now it's a complete sentence. So that was a sentence fragment. Now we're going to look at run-on sentences. Hold on, let me erase all this junk. A run-on sentence can be something like, Angie went to the mall. She purchased new shoes. Okay, so Angie went to the mall. She purchased new shoes. All squished together. So that's how I like to think of a run-on sentence. It's two or more complete thoughts, two or more complete sentences, all squished together in one. So this area right here is missing a couple of things because we're saying Angie went to the mall, one complete sentence. She purchased new shoes, a second complete sentence. So there are a few things we can do right there in that yellow spot. One of them, if you guys remember, is just add, let me make this a little bigger, a semicolon. Angie went to the mall. It's like a period, comma, combination, that semicolon. Semicolon, she purchased new shoes. Or you can do a comma and a fanboy. Angie went to the mall, comma, and she purchased 2 new shoes. Or if you're getting super, super fancy, you can just put a period and capitalize that S. Angie went to the mall, period, she purchased new shoes. So those are a couple of different quick explanations of run-ons, fragments, compound sentences. Remember, you have your Google slide presentation. There are a lot of videos there that are explaining all the differences and how to fix them, how to notice them when you're reading or writing especially. So this sentence fragment PDF, something that you have, you're going to complete on your own, but I'm going to do a few with you to kind of model and practice. The instructions say a word or a group of words that has been broken off from a sentence is a sentence fragment. So that's your definition of what a sentence fragment is. Okay, so it says mark complete sentences with an S and mark, oh, hold on, I'm messing this all kinds of up. Sorry, guys. So mark complete sentences with an S and mark sentence fragments with an F. Okay? The example would say, we went to the lake. And that is a complete sentence because we is the subject and went is the predicate verb. Now the next one says, for 2 weeks. Well, that's just a fragment because it's just telling me amount of time. It doesn't give me any details. So if I look at number 1 there, it says until the last day. That, my friends, is a fragment because it tells me like an amount of time, but it doesn't tell me what this amount of time relates to. So it's an F. Now I'm going to skip ahead. And purposefully, they're all going to start with capital letters and none of them are going to have any punctuation at the end, so it doesn't confuse you. Normally, we all know the sentences start with the capital letter and they end with some type of punctuation mark. For this particular work, it's okay that they don't have it. That's just fine. So then, number 8. Let's go ahead and look at number 8. I want to check that one out. It says, the snow has melted. Now I'm going to highlight my subject here in orange. It says, the snow has melted. The subject of the sentence is snow. It's telling me the thing that's doing the verb. And the verb, the action, is has melted. That's the predicate verb. It did something. It melted. So that's a complete sentence. I'm going to put an S there. Now what I want you to do is go ahead, pause the video, do 1 through 22. I've already done 2 for you, so you've got 20. Pretty easy. S for complete sentence, F for fragment. Pause the video, do that, and then come back to me. Okay, so maybe hopefully you paused your video and listened to my directions. If not, it's okay. You can go back and do this again. That's the nice thing about videos. You can pause it, rewind it, take your time. Please use this as the best, use it in the best way that suits you. So the second little chunk of work here says, mark the complete sentences with an S and the sentence fragments with an F. Pretty standard. Complete sentences with an S, sentence fragments with an F. We've already done that before, but this is more practice. I feel like we all need a bunch of practice writing great complete sentences. So I'm going to start with number 6. He laughed. So let's see. Is there a subject? I'm going to do my subject here in this purplish color. He is the subject. And laughed, I'm going to do in orange because laughed is the verb predicate. So yes, number 6 is a complete sentence. I'm going to put an S right there because it has a subject and a verb. That seems kind of crazy because it's only 2 words for a complete sentence, but it is. Let's look at number 8. If we get enough rain. Now, there's like verbs here. There's nouns here. We's a noun. Rain's a noun. So maybe it's a sentence because it's got a noun and a noun can be a subject. It also has a verb, get. You're doing something. But let's look at this closer. If we get enough rain. So we're starting with the conditional term there. If we get enough rain. But we're missing that second part of that conditional term. That then. Then what's going to happen? So we started something and we didn't finish it. So that's an F. That's a fragment. Even though we have a subject, or something that can be a subject, and we also have something that can be a verb or a predicate. So go ahead and pause this. You're going to do the rest of the next 20. S for complete sentence, F for fragment, and then come join me for the last little chunk of this. Okay, so this one we're going to kind of put it all together. We're going to have complete sentences, fragments, and run-ons. So a sentence has a subject and a verb and makes a complete thought. We've already talked about that. So remember that. A sentence has a subject and a verb and makes a complete thought. Now, a fragment is a word or a group of words that has been broken off of a sentence. So it's a little piece, just a little baby piece of it. A run-on sentence is the result of connecting sentences with a comma or connecting sentences with the mark of punctuation. So you're not really using your proper fanboys or semicolons and run-on sentences. It's like putting two complete thoughts and smashing them together, making a mess. So this says, we're going to mark complete sentences with an S, fragments with an F, and run-ons with an RO. Pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and look at number 1. The man that I saw yesterday. So it's got a man, and maybe it says saw, but it's not really expressing everything completely. Like maybe I could have said the man that I saw yesterday ate some ice cream. And that's a complete sentence. It's telling me what that man did. It's missing that verb. So this is a fragment. Number 2 says, he is not an exceptional student, comma, he is only average. So he is not an exceptional student is a complete sentence because it has he, which is a subject, and is, which is the predicate verb. The second part says he is only average. Same thing. He is a subject and is the predicate verb. But this little chunk right here has a comma. And we all know if we use a comma, we have to also have a fanboys to connect it. So there are a few things that we can do to fix this sentence. We can turn that comma into a semicolon. We can do a comma and, oops, sorry, I did that wrong. A comma and, or just put a period and capitalize that second word there, the second he. So this is a run-on sentence, okay? A run-on sentence. So I'm going to look at number 10 here. Number 10 says, hurry up. It doesn't have a subject. It has stated, but it has what we call an implied subject. This is a complete sentence. Remember that it is an imperative sentence. It's telling you what to do. So go ahead and finish these next ones on your own and turn in your finished PDF. Thank you.